Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Science, Rock and Life. I'm Bevan.
I'm Baxter. Let's roll that intro. All right, welcome back, guys. How you been going, Devin?
It's been okay. So we've moved from. I feel like we talk about lockdown and
I know.
coronavirus every single time, but I mean, kind of like that's what's ruling our lives at the moment.
That's right.
Um, yeah, so Auckland has moved down to level 3 lockdown, which is basically the same as level 4, but you can get takeaway food instead. So yeah, no, it was good. I had a nice couple of curries tonight, which I haven't had for quite a long time since I can't really make them very well at home. But yeah, otherwise work continues as usual. How about you?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like, I guess our lockdown hasn't been as hard as you guys in New Zealand because we were still able to go and get takeaways and get food delivered to our place. So
Mm. No, that was all banned. In fact, it was quite funny. So I don't know if you see that American comedy show this with Stephen Colbert,
watch it every day.
but oh wow, did you
Yeah.
see the KFC bit? Oh,
Except,
maybe it'll be coming up then.
yeah, probably. I'll be watching that
So,
tomorrow.
well, I'll spoil it for you. So, so
That's okay. You
these
can spoil it.
So some gang guys, like one of the gangs, there's a couple of gangs. Yeah, I think this was the mongrel mob. Anyway, these gang guys got busted crossing the border. So there's a border between Auckland and the rest of the country because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
They got busted by the police coming across the border. Inside the car, they had like $100,000 of cash and a boot full of KFC.
Oh
Uh,
yes, yeah, I saw that. And you know the funny thing was that so this was in Auckland.
yeah, yeah.
That's really bizarre because I watched it on a different. I think I saw it on Jimmy Kimmel, and
Okay.
and the way they reported, they said it was actually in Australia, and I was a bit confused because I thought like, hang on, I didn't really hear this news on Australian news channel. So is it real or fake? The question, they must be like tracking these guys, right? For them to just like stop and look into the cars.
Well, there's like a checkpoint at the border, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's a border now. It's
Of
crazy, but
course.
yeah. So you have to check in. You have to
Yeah.
have like if you're a truck driver, you have to have like a vaccinate like a COVID test in the past 7 days, and you have to
Oh
have like a
yeah.
document saying that you're allowed to travel and all this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, they just got stopped at the checkpoint,
They
and there
must.
were other ones where some guys were like going cross country, like on a farm next to the motorway, like trying to bypass the border and stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Things people do try to get their KFC.
well, essential item. Now I feel like eating KFC to be honest.
Well, that's the thing. It's been such a great marketing campaign for KFC
Yeah.
because it's been all over the news here. Um,
Yeah. Well, you know, speaking of KFC, uh, I've been I've been eating a lot of naughty food, you know, such as not really KFC, but kind of like a bit obsessed with McDonald's. And I'm not eating it every single day, but it's like I do think about it a lot, which is crazy because last year when I was a vegan, I just didn't want to look at McDonald's. And I don't know, the
mm,
last few months, something has happened that I just feel like eating Macca's all the time or even KFC. Like previously, KFC used to be just like once a year. And yeah, don't really want to be doing that because the gut. I'm
yeah,
trying to control this little gut.
I think that's just something that happens when you get a bit older, like we are.
Well, I tell you what, for the last few years, every time my gut starts to get a little bit bigger, during summertime, what I do, I go on fruit diet, specifically stone fruit, peaches, nectarines. So I do have like little small portions, small portion meals, but mostly every time I feel hungry, I just eat peaches or nectarines. They'll fill me up for a little while, and it actually helps me lose weight pretty quickly. So that's my weight secret, guys. Try it.
Well, that's great because I love stone fruit. It
Yeah,
sounds like a very delicious diet.
yeah,
Yeah, it's funny. Like I can remember about 20 years ago when I was flatting, and we'd only eat junk food. That's the only thing we'd eat, just like noodles and
yeah.
whatever the
I
cheapest
know.
thing, easiest thing we could possibly eat. And after a year like that, like I just like really started to crave vegetables because I hadn't eaten any like vegetables or green stuff for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think your body kind of just wants it. So there you go. Maybe your body just really, really needs that McDonald's.
Well, um, the other thing I am actually doing a lot as well is eating a lot of veggies, just raw vegetables, And I'm not
Mm.
talking lettuce. I'm like talking tomatoes, cucumbers, and spinach. Any kind of. I actually do like raw vegetables in a bizarre way. I prefer vegetables raw rather than cooked. But yeah, no, back to eating McDonald's in the early days. Our campus, Auckland University, was very close to this McDonald's, which was at uh, Auckland Technology
Oh, yep.
Institute. What was it called again?
AUT. Yeah,
AUT. That's
yeah.
right. And there used to be a Macca's there, and I remember like for a long time period, like I think for one whole semester, lunchtime was used to be at McDonald's for me, just going there and getting hamburgers. But at that point, I was young and my metabolism was very high, so no matter like how much junk you would eat, it would just like get degraded pretty quickly. But now you got to be careful. And
That's right. Yeah, my lunch through most university was a meat pie, a pack of these corn chips, and a can of Lift, kind of like
oh
a
yeah, yeah,
lemon soda type thing. Yeah.
yes, wow.
But yeah, like I say, you didn't matter, eh? You could eat whatever.
No,
Nothing affected your body.
no, exactly. And now you got to be like super careful. I tell you what, like in the last few months, a lot of my jeans I can't seem to fit in because the gut is kind of like getting bigger, and sometimes I'm beginning to imagine like, am I gonna turn into this massive fat guy or what? What's gonna happen? But yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully I'll come to my senses. you know. Um, what do you have in tea?
Yeah, this is actually kind of cold tea by now, actually.
Oh, is it like black tea or some other kind of herbal tea?
Yeah, it's black tea. So, but
Okay.
I get I don't know if you can see
Yeah,
that,
I
but
can
I
see
get
it.
the whole leaf kind of tea.
Oh
I get it
yeah.
from the Chinese stores because like the teas there are actually really good. And I can't go back to that kind of British tea now. That's like just like the teeny little
Yeah,
fragments
I
of
know.
stuff. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, this is really good. Good flavor, and like I can like put in a scoop of tea leaves in the morning and just like fill it up with hot water through the day and just drink it. And by night it's fine because like all the caffeine is pretty much gone
Yeah.
in the morning, and you're just left with the flavors. So, yeah.
Well, one of the teas that I do like, one of the herbal teas is a rooibos, uh,
Oh yeah.
and and I can actually get like a good brand rooibos tea with like big leaves, like the ones you're talking about. And the good thing about that rooibos tea is that it does not have any caffeine, so I can actually sleep. Otherwise I just get with all the caffeine very anxious and shaky, and yeah. And once again, back when we were young, we used to have like a Starbucks in Auckland City, and it used to be open late. I remember like sitting there with friends having coffee at like 11 o'clock and still be able to go back home and sleep. Uh, Cannot seem to do that now. Yeah. um, Anything interesting happened to you this week?
Not worth talking about. Just work. Work continues as usual.
Well, can I share something super exciting?
Go for it.
Well, so my Mac computer, this little baby over here, um, it's a 2017 iMac, and it has like the old school HHD hard drive.
Oh,
HDD,
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Normal physical
That's
spinning disc thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The one inside it, and it was actually pretty fast. And then I upgraded to the new operating system, which is Big Sur, which is this one right here, and it was still pretty fast. Except I wanted to download Final Cut Pro, and previously I was doing all my video editing on iMovies, and but I wanted to step to the next level. Just be. It had a lot of limitations. And anyways, I started to use Final Cut Pro, and I realized my computer was just kind of like getting really heavy, not too slow. I was still able to do things, but I just didn't like that, the lag. Not the lag. That's the wrong word to be using, right? What's the correct word, Bevin? Just getting slower.
Like latency or
Latent.
something.
Oh no, just getting slower. I think.
Yeah, they'll do.
Yeah. Latency.
Lag. Yeah, lag's good.
Yeah, and so I asked you this question. I sent you a message saying like, "Hey, what do you think if I'm gonna get like an SSD hard drive?" And I think you mentioned something about the CPU and the GPU, which I'm not very familiar with. All I knew was like my computer is relatively fast, and the second thing I knew was SSD hard drives. When I looked online in different shops, I was able to see a couple of brands with read and write speeds of 1000 megabits per second, and I'm thinking that is very fast. And so I bought one, and I tried editing all my videos on the SSD hard drive, still using the operating system which is on the computer, and it was relatively fast. And then I thought to myself, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to revert back to the older system on my hard drive, internal hard drive, and install Big Sur, the new operating system, externally on the SSD hard drive. And it took me a while, but eventually I was able to do that. And the SSD hard drive is now connected through like a USB-C, so a nice fast bus, and everything is just super flash. I'm clicking on all these heavy apps like Final Cut Pro, and it just pops up just like that, and just no dramas whatsoever. So I'm super stoked about it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I didn't realize that you're still on like an old physical hard drive thing. Yeah. I got rid of those ages ago.
Of course you did, because you're like a hardcore computer person, aren't you?
Well, I do have some actually in my basement. They run like my little server down there that's got
Wow.
all the files and movies and stuff like that that I don't need fast access to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those SSDs make a huge difference
Yeah.
to putting operating system on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, how the heck were you able to actually set up servers and everything? Did it take you a long time to do it?
No. It's all the Linux system's pretty powerful and can run all that kind of stuff. I've actually got heaps of different ones like lying around that do various things. They buy these little Raspberry Pi
Oh, yeah, I've heard of
computers.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, I've got at least three of those running various stuff in the house. So one runs my media center kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can watch all the videos and stream stuff, all that kind of thing. One does like basically all the internet stuff, so it runs my firewall and ad blocker and like runs the software for all
Yeah.
my Wi-Fi access points and stuff like that. Yeah, and then I've
Amazing.
got another one that does my monitors my beer fermentation.
Oh, what? Sorry.
So it just monitors like I've got this little Bluetooth. I should get one actually. I got monitors these little Bluetooth floating hygrometers
Okay.
that measure the specific gravity of beer or wine when it ferments.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, and so it just
Yeah.
talks to that, and you can monitor the temperature and the
Sure.
specific gravity of the beer as it ferments, so you know when it's like finished and stuff.
Right. Wow. So you've got like a whole computer system running in your house. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of when we went to lockdown and kind of within a space of no time, like all the schools went online.
Hmm.
My daughter needed a computer. I was like, oh, right here, fine. Here's an old laptop.
Yeah.
It used to be like a $4,000 laptop that I used for like really complicated, like
Yeah.
phylogenetic and it's like really grunty thing. And it's like, oh, here you go. And there's other kids at school that are just like, they've got nothing and they're just like running off their mum's phone or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, so I do have a lot of computer stuff lying around. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, it's I'm pretty happy with with what I did. It's probably not too fancy, but it's not really easy to actually revert back to an old operating system when you're using a Macintosh computer. And so it was a little bit of a hassle. I had to create a bootable USB drive to be able to kind of like trick the motherboard or whatever it's inside it, you would know, to kind of like revert back to the old operating system which I had before. So that's the problem, like, I mean, every time like a new operating system comes up and they sometimes take out some of the cool things which are there in the older systems, and then you're like, man, I really used to use that, now I can't use that. And one of the biggest issues I had was, so I've got a recording studio, and this is my recording interface, right? And all of a sudden, when I installed the new operating system, I realized that this thing does not support, well, they're not compatible anymore,
Oh man.
and for me that was a big bummer. I could have actually used my laptop, but I like to do all my recordings here. I've got everything connected here, my microphones and things. And so this is why I reverted back to the old operating system so I can do all my recordings and stuff. But at the same time, when I'm doing my video editing, I can do that on the newer operating system. And just switching on and off between the two is just a breeze anyways. It's not that tricky. So, and plus I get to experience finally in a solid state hard drive. So all you viewers out there who haven't tried a solid state hard drive, get it, try it. It'll just make your old computer become new super fast.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting. So you've got your old operating system still installed on the hard disk,
That's right.
and you've got the new one as well. So you can just swap between them. Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the new one is on the solid state drive, the external hard drive. So yeah.
It reminds me of yeah, probably about 20 years ago when I was had a lot more time to play with things, and I used to triple boot systems. So at one point I had Windows 2000 Linux, and another thing that nobody will know of called beos, which was a totally new competing operating system, which just didn't go anywhere because
Oh,
nobody made any apps or anything for it.
yeah. BOS. Huh. Never heard
Yeah,
of it.
no, nobody would
Yeah,
have. Yeah,
but I do know about Windows 2000. Is that what you
yeah, yeah,
said? Windows
yeah.
Millennium Edition was my favorite
Oh,
Windows
really?
operating
Yeah.
system. Yeah, and that was a long time ago. And then after that, I eventually upgraded to Windows 7.
Oh, yeah.
Was there anything in between? There's got to be something, right? Yeah, there was Windows
Yeah,
2005.
2000. There was no 2005.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was Windows 2000, I think. I
Okay.
don't know. It's
So
been a long
Millennium
time. It's been like 20
Edition, then
years.
2000, and then 2007.
Well, it was just 7, and then 8, and then 10.
Ah, okay. Gosh. Well, I turned my back to Windows after Windows 7, so I don't even have Windows 8. Uh, I've got this really old laptop which has Windows 7 on it, but yeah, I'm not using it anymore at the moment. Actually, Ingrid is using it because she's doing this accounting course and she needed to install some sort of an app. I think it's called Mind Your Own Business accounting app.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so she's actually using that because she was unable to install on the latest version of the computer. So that's the thing, all these incompatibilities with the softwares and stuff, and you always trying to play the catch up, And you know, that also got me thinking the other day because I've got like 3 hard drives and I've got backups from, I don't know, from the last 20 years. I've got my files from my master's course that I did, you know,
Mm.
so really old files. I still have my work files from when I used to work at Lanka Research with you. And I've got all these files, and I was just thinking about it a couple of days ago. Is that why am I actually keeping all these files when I'm not even actually looking at it? You know, I've been kind of like saving all these files, making sure it's with me. But then again, I'm not really using these files. It's just there. For what? That's because probably I'm a hoarder. I think I'm going to answer my own question.
So one thing you can do that I did is that you can put it onto like an online backup, but a lot of them cost like quite a lot of money
Oh,
to maintain. But there's a thing called Amazon Glacier,
okay.
and it's a kind. It's on the Amazon system, but they're called Glacier because it's
Hmm.
really slow. And basically, it's for like disaster backup, so you can write to it and then you just forget about it. Um, and it costs like per terabyte transferred or something like that. So I think when I was initially dumping everything to it, it cost me maybe like 50 cents or something
Okay.
to store it. But once it's there, it costs you nothing.
Huh.
So yeah, no ongoing costs.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of like my triple backup for
Right.
for stuff. Everything gets put on there. Yeah.
Do you actually go mining into your old files?
Well, I do for kind of work purposes because, I've been there 20 years and I often want something from 15 years ago or something
Yeah.
that I'm still working on because, science takes a long time.
Yeah.
In my personal life, not a lot, but remember a few months ago, um, I dug out those old band files and I had
That's right.
transcribed
Yeah. Yeah.
my baselines and thing because I couldn't remember what what my baselines were, but luckily I had transcribed them all
Yeah.
at the time, and now I've got them all. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. Like I hate chucking stuff out. So yeah, you never
Interesting.
know when it's going to be useful. Who knows? Maybe some archaeologist in the future, um, you know, needs to dive into your files, find out when you become famous.
Yeah. Still waiting for that day. Um, what else we've got here on the topics? Oh yeah. Oh, there's two things actually. I forgot to tell you that we had an earthquake here in Australia.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
So the big one actually happened in Melbourne. I think it was like 5.9 Richter. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so I was actually in the bathroom, and all of a sudden I could feel my shower wall and door kind of like shaking, and I'm like, wow, it must be really windy outside. And I'm sat there and I'm thinking, this is really bizarre. There's something odd. At that point, I did not even think about the earthquake. I even actually held on to the door to stop it from shaking. And then afterwards, I actually went outside in the balcony and had a look. And I'm like, hang on, there's no wind. What the heck was that? So yeah, earthquake.
Mm.
So now we've got disease, war, and just natural disasters.
That's
What will be
right.
next?
Well, wait until summer again. I remember last summer, so much of Australia was on fire. There was
Yes.
dark clouds of smoke
Hmm.
coming across here,
Yep,
thousands of kilometers away in another country. Yeah,
that's right. That
it
that
was
was very
crazy.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's here's a crazy bit because we were actually wearing masks because of the smoke. At that
Hmm.
point, the pandemic wasn't even on yet. Like in 2019, we heard about
It must have been
this
2019.
yeah, because in 2019, November, December, we heard about coronavirus in China, but we didn't really know it was going to take off. And it was early January, late December that the fires just kind of like started to ravage most of the forests in Australia on the east coast, and we had to wear masks, and it was really odd because all of a sudden we were just like wearing masks and thinking, oh, this is crazy, and a couple of months later, coronavirus kicked in March, and then people were back to wearing masks. But so we live in Canberra. I live in Canberra, and sorry, you live in Auckland, and yeah, we didn't really have to wear. We weren't too affected by the initial COVID-19 outbreak or pandemic, because there were few cases. They all got contained pretty quickly, and then we started to live normally up until the Delta virus came in this year, and that kind of screwed us up. So yeah, and now here we are in a lockdown 6 weeks later and still wearing masks, and yeah, just shocking. So
Yep.
yeah, so that was the crazy bit. The other thing I was going to talk to you about was like, so sorry guys, this is also a music podcast as well. Do you listen to Alien Weaponry? It's a Kiwi band.
Oh, yeah, I've heard a couple of their songs, but I haven't listened to a whole album.
Yeah, the new album, they just released their new album, the second album, and I think it's better than the first one. Pretty stoked about it. I think half of the songs, the 5 songs, which are in Maori language, and the other ones are in English. But to anybody out there who's listening to music and heavy metal music or hard rock music, you don't need to worry about language, But it's yeah, really powerful stuff, and it's pretty cool to see like um, a band coming out of like a small nation like New Zealand, and trying to make it big out there, So they're managed by the same management who Slayer, the band Slayer, yeah. So their management is managing these guys as well, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. I remember like when
Wow.
8 Foot Sativa got kind of like a lot of popularity, and they got pretty big, and then they kind of
They
just like
did, yeah.
disappeared. But
Yeah, they recorded at least one of their albums in Sweden and stuff,
yeah,
They got pretty big. So yeah, their bassist was my bass
that's
teacher.
right. Yeah, Brent,
Um,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
But they broke up as many bands do.
Yeah.
But yeah, got back together again at some point. Yeah, they changed vocalists, and yeah, that kind of changed the style as well. Yeah.
Was it you that who told me that one of their singers was actually doing a live show in Auckland, and he kind of like did the growl thing, and then he just passed out because he ran out of
Oh
oxygen?
yes, yeah. That was oh, was it them? It was. Yeah, I think it was that first vocalist. Yeah, it was this long press, and I'm sure there'll be a YouTube video of it somewhere. And yeah, he
Probably.
just totally passed out. Yeah,
Just went crashed.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And they had like an offshoot band called Snate.
Mm.
And they were pretty cool. I saw them a few times actually in Auckland, and they were awesome. And then their guitarist decided to move to Canada, and he started a thrash metal, groove metal style band over there. And yeah, nothing much has happened. That's the thing with music, isn't it? Like, you just have to be at the right time at the right place, and to kind of like, yeah, get the opportunity to get recognized and make it big. And because there's so many bands out there, and a lot of bands are so good, but nothing really happens. But yeah, so kudos to Alien Weaponry. You should check out their album, guys. I'm always supporting companies and bands. It's like I'm not even getting a single dime.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, it was the air tags last week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
AirTags. I guess we're now at the 30-minute mark, and I think time to wrap up so that my camera won't shut
Sounds good.
down because of overheating. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. If you're new to our channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also hit the bell button so you'll be notified every time we post a new video, which is every Monday. So once a week. All right, thank you once again, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
See ya.